Have you ever wondered if true faith is only about the prayers and rituals we perform every day? Or is faith something deeper, beyond what we can see, that can change our lives, even in our most hopeless moments? Do you believe that a simple yet powerful word can change everything? Today I want to share with you a special story from the Bible. A story not just about a miracle, but about great faith, humility, and mercy. This story is not just an event that happened in the past, but also a profound lesson for each of us in our daily lives. It is the story of the Roman officer and his servant. This story begins not with a miracle, but with a worry, a pain that this Roman officer had to face. A powerful officer with wide influence, yet still unable to help his servant when he was dying. This made me reflect. When we face challenges and difficulties in life, can we find true faith? A faith that is not based on personal strength or the things we have, but a trust in the infinite power and love of God. This story is not just a past event. It is an invitation for us to look back at our own faith and see if we are ready to humbly place our complete trust in God, no matter the circumstances. Let's explore this story together to better understand the valuable lessons it brings. In a small town called Capernaum, there was a Roman officer, a foreigner who was not part of the Jewish people. Although he had power and wealth, being a person of high status in Roman society, what is remarkable is that he did not let these powers overshadow his compassion. He had a servant who was seriously ill, with little hope of survival. However, this officer did not believe that his power or wealth could heal his servant, whom he greatly cared for. What is particularly special here is that in a society where servants were seen only as property, as tools for labor, with no personal value, this officer demonstrated profound compassion and care for his servant. This is truly striking because in that era, class distinctions and social status were very evident, and the relationship between masters and servants typically revolved around the exchange of labor for money. Yet, this officer went beyond these boundaries to show genuine concern and love for his servant. This story becomes remarkable, not only because of the officer's actions, but also because it reflects a deep value that Jesus always calls us to practice: love and compassion. Jesus did not only love those who were valued in the eyes of society. He loved everyone, regardless of their status, race, or circumstances. And it is from this story that we see that unconditional love and compassion are the core values that he desires us to demonstrate in our daily lives. The Roman officer approached Jesus. This Roman officer had heard much about Jesus and the miracles he performed, especially the healing of diseases that seemed incurable. Jesus' love and compassion had spread far and wide, moving not only the Jewish people, but also Gentiles like this officer. With a strong belief in the boundless power of Jesus, he did not hesitate to seek him out, hoping that Jesus could heal the servant he deeply cared for. However, the officer did not approach Jesus directly. Instead, he chose to send Jewish leaders to ask Jesus on his behalf. This was a notable action because it reflected his humility and reverence toward Jesus. Although in his heart, the officer had complete faith in Jesus' power, he felt unworthy to have Jesus enter his home. To him, Jesus was a holy one, and despite his own high status in society, he felt small and unworthy. This situation shows a profound understanding of the dignity and greatness of Jesus, along with the officer's absolute humility. Even though his power was limitless in Roman society, before Jesus, he realized that human power was nothing compared to the power of the Creator. It was this humility and absolute faith in Jesus that became the bridge for the miracle he was about to perform. The Roman officer's words and Jesus' praise. The Roman officer expressed his absolute faith in the power of Jesus when he said, "Lord, "I am not worthy to have you come under my roof, but only speak a word, and my servant will be healed." His words were not just a simple request, but a profound expression of deep and strong faith in Jesus' power. He did not ask Jesus to come near, nor demand a miracle to happen right before his eyes. Instead, this officer believed that a single word from Jesus was enough to heal his servant, no matter how far apart they were. The officer's faith not only transcended physical boundaries, but also broke through social and cultural barriers. Although he was a Gentile, not part of the Jewish people, his faith in Jesus was far greater than the faith of many in Israel. This is a key point in the story because it shows that faith does not depend on origin, ethnicity, or social status. What matters is the belief in God's infinite power and the ability to do what humans cannot. Jesus did not hesitate to praise the officer, saying, "I tell you, I have not found such great faith, even in Israel." This was a remarkable compliment, for it was not just an acknowledgement of one person's faith, but also a rebuke toward the Jewish people, who, despite being taught by Jesus and witnessing many miracles, still lacked the same strong belief in his power. Jesus' praise challenges us to reflect on our own faith in our daily lives. Sometimes we may fall into the trap of doubt and disbelief, especially when we face difficulties and trials. However, a strong and absolute faith in Jesus can not only change our lives, but also create miracles. The Roman officer, though a Gentile, serves as an example for all of us in how to trust in the infinite power of Jesus, a faith that can overcome all barriers, distances, and challenges in life. Lessons on faith and humility. The great lesson we can draw from the story of the Roman officer is profound and comprehensive, encompassing three important elements: faith, humility, and love. First, faith. Faith is not something we can boast about or prove through words or outward actions. It is not a gift that can be bought with power or wealth. Faith is the absolute trust in God's power, even when we do not see His presence clearly in our daily lives. The officer believed that a single word from Jesus was enough to heal his servant, and this reflects an unwavering faith in God, without needing concrete proof. Faith is the understanding that God can do all things, even though we may not understand everything that happens in this life. It was the officer's strong faith that brought about the miracle. Second, humility. Despite the officer's power and status in Roman society, he did not feel worthy for Jesus to enter his home. His humility is a testimony of deep reverence for God, recognizing that human power is nothing compared to the infinite power of the Holy One. In our daily lives, we often fall into the trap of pride, self-satisfaction, and thinking we are the center of the universe. Jesus teaches us that humility is the path to true glory. When we are humble, we open our hearts for God to act in our lives, and it is through humility that we truly receive His grace. Finally, love and compassion. This officer not only loved his servant, but also demonstrated love for the Jewish people. He had helped build a synagogue for them, showing care and respect for others, even though they weren't of his own people. His love and compassion crossed ethnic and social boundaries. This serves as a powerful reminder that God's love does not discriminate, and we are called to love everyone, regardless of race, circumstances, or background. True love is when we care, share, and help those around us, especially the vulnerable and those in need. This story is not just about a healing miracle, but it is also a lesson on how to live in faith, humility, and love. It invites us to reflect on how we trust in God, our attitude of humility in our relationship with Him and others, and the compassion we need to show in all circumstances. Dear brothers and sisters, the story of the Roman officer and His servant is not just a physical miracle, but also a miracle of faith. When we place our trust in God, He will always act in His way, even though we may not be able to fully comprehend it. God is not bound by space or time, and He can perform miracles in our lives, even when we do not see Him directly. The faith of the officer was not just belief in miracles, but an absolute trust in God's infinite power, even when He was not visibly present. We are also invited to live with such faith, whether our faith is small or great. Let it be a source of strength to help us overcome any challenges in life. Faith is not what we have, but how we live, how we love and serve others, and how we open our hearts to God's presence in all circumstances. Remember, faith is not just about prayers or rituals. It is how we live in love, humility, and compassion towards those around us. Faith is alive. It is a journey with God, and it is the awareness that He is always present and acting in every moment of our lives. May you always live in strong faith and humility, and may God's love guide us in every action and decision of our lives. Let kindness and love become the hallmark of the faith we demonstrate to this world. Amen.